De La Fuente and Jim Howrunner.
Nice.
All hosting the man of the minute. The man of the hours. Exactly.
I hope you have a good editor. We're on YouTube tonight, right?
Okay. What are you going to say tonight?
Well, first off, this is a face only a mother could love. Thank you.
She does.
Thank you. We're here for Phil Tagami, which 26 people in Oakland know about. The rest of there's a guy behind me. He's got salads. This reminds me of, look at this. Fresh salads, and he's a Raiders fan. Oh, watch out! There's gunshots coming. No, this is going to be a big night for Phil Tagami. He's like the Chicago Don in Oakland. If Phil does it, it's pretty risque, but he gets away with it, and he's greased by Jerry Brown. So even if it's illegal, who cares? And this is a big night.
Well, we love Phil like a butterfly.
We love Phil. Everybody. Sarah Palin loves Phil. In fact, she just called.
Right?
She just called, and she said that she's going to moose him. Moose him, get it? The moose burgers, though.
I get it.
No, it's a big night. We're at the beautiful Rotunda building,
nice,
too.
Look at this.
This is great.
Yeah.
It is such a big night tonight, Zenny. You know what? They say that the sideshows have been canceled for 24 hours. Thank you. Hello, we're here. The takeover robbers. They're even coming here tonight. They're going to be here.
That's Rich Lieber, folks, who I've known since Skyline High.
Skyline High.
Actually, Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart Junior High.
We're the tin screen and brown shoe of Oakland. Thank you.
Nice. Folks, this is the legendary Joe Starkey. Joe, welcome.
Well, it's great to be here. First of all, I've never been in the Rotunda before.
Beautiful.
And since I live out on the other side of the hills, it's rare I get into downtown Oakland, so I'm absolutely delighted with what's happening here. What Phil Tagami has done to rebuild this theater, to the School for the Arts, all the new building going up, it's going to transform the city, so he should be proud of himself, and hopefully we'll make a lot of money tonight to help raise even more.
And Joe, it's not the same with you, or without you, rather. Well, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're here tonight. It's a big night. This is so huge. I'm happy for Phil. I knew him in high school. In fact, this night is so big that there's been a moratorium on sideshows for 24 hours. Thank you, okay. That was going to work. We're here all week. Now, Phil is big. Phil's a great guy. He's kind. He's caring. He's sensitive. He's compassionate. How do I know that? Because he told me. What is this? Is this a late show crowd? Come on, laugh. You can laugh, okay? It's okay. What did you pay to get in here?
I just want to know if Delta is coming. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chip Johnson. For those of you who don't know, I work for the San Francisco Chronicle. I guess you all do know. Okay, so anyway, I want to set the record straight on a few things, first of all. And the first thing I want to say is that while Ron Gellins may be the elected mayor of our fair city, Oakland, California is Phil Tagami's town. There's no question about that. Okay? When you come Phil, you're talking about Phil Tagami and the things that he's done for this city again and again and again.
What is this, a testimonial? I thought it was a roast. They talked at the conventions. Let's talk about the conventions. They talked at the conventions about the vice president and how people were frightened of the vice president. Let me tell you, if you're a bureaucrat in Oakland, California, the 8 most frightening words are, hello, Mr. Tagami would like to speak with you. I mean, Phil, it's your night, Phil. Enjoy yourself. Yell at somebody. Look, I know you're going to have a good time. They said he has a bit of the Lombardi in him. Yeah, he does. Oh! It's an honor to be here with so many outstanding individuals. Chip Johnson works incredibly hard at the Chronicle, delivering what I think is excellent journalism to the citizens of Oakland. And our city attorney, Mr. Russo, wonderful comments. And Mr. Alexander, who keeps me out of trouble at the port, wonderful presentation. I think there's a lot of things that we share in common up here, and I've known
Phil for a very long time. He gave me my first job at the construction site that Chip talked about early on, and second job, or the first job, actually you're right, the second job, first job was Lake American Roads. So I do have probably a lot of volumes of information I can share with you that would be extremely embarrassing to our guest of honor, and he could probably do the same when he comes up here and has his rebuttal. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I think I'd like to just say something to Phil that isn't said enough, and that's just thank you. What John Russo talked about is absolutely true. Phil's devotion to this city is probably unparalleled. I don't know if I could say 25 of him in Oakland. I can barely say one of them, but.
Thank you. I'm really sorry that I'm late. I'm supposed to be early, but believe it or not, I'm with my mother and my wife and my aunt. I'm on the way to the airport because my mother's leaving, going back to Mexico City, but I cannot, so they probably mad at me because they walk in here from the car. But I just heard that this was supposed to be a roast. And the only one that actually dared to say something, asked kind of a roast for Phil Tagami was Russo. Just a couple of people, everybody else just kind of saying nice things about Phil Tagami. I can tell you that I have traveled with Phil Tagami, okay? We have gone to places that nobody has gone to. So they told me like children in the room, so I cannot really get down to business, but so if there was no children in the room, I might keep you entertained a little bit more than what I'm going to do tonight. But really, sir, I think that traveling with Phil Tagami, and I was actually went to Veracruz, Mexico, to my family's ranch, and he was wearing one of those expensive $500 pairs of shoes. I guess he's doing very well in his business and development, so he's got all this $500 pairs of shoes and $300 pairs of slacks, you know, to go to my ranch. And so we decided we're going to take him to the store and buy him a pair of boots. And my cousin was very surprised that we went through, I don't know, 4 or 5 different stores, and we were not able to find any pair of boots that will fill Tagami's calf. Have you seen his calf? Get up! I want to show you my legs, man. It's like my waist. So we could not find a pair of boots for Phil Tagami.
Tough times during projects. We've done a lot of major things together. It's a growing relationship, and I'm proud to know him more than I can say. He's given me many great ideas, and he always has let me do my thing, which is rare in our business, to have the ability to show your stuff.
This was my speech. I'm going to rip it up because I had good material on all these guys. You know, it was, I think it was Uncle Teddy, Bobby Shriver's Uncle Teddy Kennedy, who taught me, who said basically, look, if everyone's had 1 drink, you can give your speech. And if people have had 2 drinks, shorten your speech. And if they've had 3 drinks, just say hello and goodbye. And if they've had more than that, don't speak at all. So I should probably just say hello and goodbye, but I'm not going to do that tonight. Because there are a lot of people who need to be thanked and acknowledged, and I really should kind of go down the line and kind of re-roast the roasters. But I'm not going to do that either. Instead, I'm going to live up to the previous billing, and I did this without them knowing it, but here it is, I have to say it. I have to first give you all the definition of a roast. Specifically, if you want to focus on how North Americans look at a roast. It's an event in which an individual is subject to public humility or the bearing of comedic insults, praise, outlandish, true, and underline, untrue, stories, and heartwarming tributes. The implication being that the roastie is able to take the jokes in good faith and not being seriously criticized or feeling injured, and therefore being able to show their good nature. You guys are fucked. Is that I thought, God, if I was ever going to run for office, what a great opportunity to take this night to launch a campaign. Then I realized how silly that would be. So anyway, back to that. My primary concern was knowing that I've been struggling with my waistline for the last several years. My primary concern was the embarrassment over all the fat jokes I'd get. Now, the fact that they challenged my calves, I'm actually very proud of the fact that my calves are larger than Chip Johnson's head. That's good. I can take that. They didn't impugn the honor of my wife, though the fact was that she came here today because she thought there would be strippers. Council, do we want them to be full-time? Are we willing to compensate them and provide them the tools to work as much as we want them to work? Or should they stay as part-time individuals? If they're going to be part-time, fine, be part-time. If the mayor's full-time, be full-time. But the question we ask for all of our constitutional officers, with all due respect to Attorney John Russo, and Courtney Ruby, and anybody else, is if you work, we want to know that you're at work. And the question really is this: you got to punch the clock. If we want workers to punch the clock, the executives have got to punch the clock. And that comes from Wall Street and Main Street. So, look, the projects that we build get done because there are men and women who strap on a tool belt and put their bodies at risk and slave and work hard to build these buildings. This building that you're in is dedicated to the men and women representing over 25 building trades who worked hard to deliver this project. And they did it with pride and dignity. And I'll tell you this right now, the Fox Theater is going to be dedicated to the men and women who did that project. And I have to amend it by saying there are people in the financial industry who right now are hurting, who work for deferred comp, who sacrifice nights and weekends, and there are people who work for the city of Oakland. Jeff Chu, who I love to beat up, and I'm surprised was not a roaster because he's got great material on me. And so that's where the influence pays off. See, I kept him off the table. And Sonny Nguyen, and Patrick Lane, and Jens Hilmer, and George Durney, and a lot of people in the city attorney's office, Richard Ilgen and Doriana, who have to suffer my bullshit all the time. And they have done their part. They have worked hard. And I have to tell you, Jeff Chu, he takes my calls on Saturdays and Sundays and puts up with it. I'm on his ass and he's on, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The people of the city of Oakland, there are a lot of people who work very hard, and they don't get their due. And you know what? Without all of us kind of working together, the project would never happen. Now we're not done yet. Hence, we're having a fundraiser. We're raising more money. Phil Tagami's calling, Jim Huckman's calling. Hey, write your check. Help us out. That's okay. We closed escrow on the project. Bank of America had faith. We closed escrow. We had $63 million to fund the project. We had a project we could deliver and satisfy the Secretary of Interior standards, but we all knew. Bank knew, we knew, city knew, Preservation Committee knew, City Council knew. That was not going to be enough. We had more money to raise. Since we closed escrow, with the help of the folks at Townsend & Associate, Isaac Koss-Reed, who's here somewhere, and a lot of people in the state legislature, and in Washington, D.C., and Dianne Feinstein, and Barbara Lee, and the list goes, I mean, it's a huge list. We raised $22 million more. And spent it. Asked this question today by Channel 2, who is probably, as we're winding up, running a very controversial piece on my comments regarding the mayor, which you'll probably hear about tomorrow. Taken out of context, some of it. We'll see. The question really was this, if you were given another $20 million, they might run this light me up. Dellums actually should go to work a little bit more. But anyway, the question was this. If you were given another $20 million, could you spend it on the Fox? And I said, do you have 40? When we shut these old buildings down, people have no idea what it does to them. And the question really is this, and cultural arts are our choice. We have a choice. We choose to engage these old buildings. We choose to have arts and culture and offerings that celebrate our community, celebrate the fact that we can have 50% local hire, 35% African American contractors working on the buildings, celebrate the fact that we can make sure that all of our small local businesses get quick pay, celebrate the fact that we can all come together as a community and have $52.6 million raised that does not have to be repaid, leaving an asset that the city will own and operate at a fraction of the cost, 1/3 of the cost. That's